everyone. I got some very important information to share with you today, and the guest, my friend, and he might chuckle at this. I say a mentor. He is, I think he's trying to save the world, and with his information, he can help a lot of us live better. So this is Mom on the Right, as you know, and I'm going to be talking to the Roger Landry, the founder of TLB and many, many other websites. And Roger, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. There's so much going on right now in our political sphere. If it doesn't make you want to cry, it makes you depressed.
Or it makes you extremely angry.
Angry, yes.
What we're looking at right now, and I promised you, look, you are one of my favorite people on this planet. Mom on the Right, I love it. I absolutely do. And it was a show that needed to be there. It was a hole that needed to be filled, and you're doing a phenomenal job. What we're looking at right now is the destruction of a republic. I'm not joking. And I never, ever say things I'm not willing to back up.
And can I play devil's advocate here, though?
Sure, go ahead.
Are we really at that point? Are we really there, sir?
No, we're not. What I said is we're looking at. I didn't say we have or we have experienced. What we are looking at is the destruction of a republic. This is in process. And anybody who doesn't believe that is the product of a Common Core education whereby you haven't been taught what your actual rights are, what your actual freedoms are, what you as an American are entitled to. You haven't been taught that. As a matter of fact, I'll start this all off with an article that I published on the Liberty Beacon a couple of years ago about an irate mother because her 10-year-old daughter brought homework home from school, and her mother, being a diligent type of mother, sat down to help her with her homework. And when she read the social studies, she got irate and immediately went to the school with her daughter. The homework stated that our rights were rights granted to us by a benevolent government. The word unalienable didn't exist in that homework. It was never taught. Our children are being taught that our rights are granted to us by a benevolent government. That's a crock. That's absolute bull. But this is Common Core. This is what your children are being taught today. Okay, if you don't believe me, there are a bunch of YouTube videos where there are some, and I find them quite amusing, if not distressing, where you've got commentators standing there asking college graduates things like, what does D.C. stand for in Washington, D.C., and they can't answer it.
Well, it's a dumbing down of America. It's a dumbing down.
Absolutely. But that's another whole show. What I want to get out to your audience today, because your audience needs to hear these type of things. Your audience is tuned to hear these type of things. They want to know the truth. Okay? What we need to talk about is the destruction of the American Republic. And anybody out there who thinks that I'm exaggerating, I'm not. What you are looking at right now, and I'm not swearing, is the bastardization of the American political system. First off, you've got everybody in Washington telling us we have to defend our democracy. We live in a democracy. We have to do that to maintain our democracy. Again, just like your children are taught, okay, that a government grants benevolent government grants rights, you're being taught the same thing. Here. Okay, this is all due to the government. This is all due to the government. What we are looking at today is a government that is in coup. This is stated by the whistleblower's attorney. He states this right in a Twitter statement. The coup has started. Are you kidding me? This is the lawyer for the whistleblower. We have a president right now. The entire country is locked up in an impeachment process because of a telephone call that he made and released the transcripts to, and there's no grounds for impeachment.
Well, we can see that when they first started, Roger, last week. I watched the hearing. I watched the first one, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to hear some evidence.
There wasn't any.
Hearsay. That's all there. I heard someone say they told me this. That's not evidence.
No. And it gets even worse than that, because it used to be that whistleblower status were granted to those who had firsthand knowledge. Okay? It was changed. Nobody knows exactly, but pretty much just before all of this started, so that it could include second and third hand information. It was changed. Now, stop and think about that, people. Do you think that's a coincidence? Let me tell you what coincidence is, okay? Coincidence is the actions of tyrants and the belief of fools. Are you a fool? There is no coincidence here. None. This is a programmed coup. All right? When you change the whistleblower qualifications just prior to somebody stepping up to be a whistleblower for impeaching a duly elected president, now, I will go right back to what my phenomenal host just said, okay? Where is the quid pro quo? There isn't one. Where is the crime? There isn't one. Where is the misdemeanor? There isn't one. Where has the president in any way, shape, or form put the United States at risk? He hasn't. There are certain basic principles for impeachment. A president must be putting the nation in danger. He must be performing treasonous acts. He must be doing things unto himself and screwing the American people. These all need to be in the open. They all need to be, everybody needs to know them, needs to understand them, not just specific committees in the basement of the congressional building. Anybody here who thinks what's going on today is normal, you're an idiot. You're listening to the wrong show. Go hide somewhere. None of this is normal. None of it. We are looking at an actual coup. If you don't think it can happen in the United States, let me repeat my last comment. You're an idiot. It is happening in the United States. There is an ongoing coup by the Democratic Party to overthrow a duly elected president, because four of their highest placed leaders in that party have stated unequivocally, and it's a matter of record, if we don't impeach him, there's no way we can win in 2020. Oh, my God. Does that speak to motive? You tell me, Corine, does that speak to motive?
Yeah, and you know what? This has been nonstop since 2016, since he won everything. It's just,
Yep.
And all the talking heads, you need to, like I tell everyone, do your own research.
Yep.
If you can just stand one of those hearings, you're like, this is a waste of taxpayers' money. This is brainwashing. And they're trying to dethrone a duly elected president.
Do you know what we are watching? Let me explain.
It's a circus. It's a circus.
But let me explain the procedure that we're seeing unfolding before our eyes, the why of it, okay? They realize there is no crime. They realize there is no treason or misdemeanors here. There isn't. And the president has done nothing, okay, to endanger the United States or its mission on the planet. Nothing at all. So what has this guy done wrong? What has he done wrong? We're going to put people who don't like him in front of the entire country and ask questions, and we just know that eventually one of them's going to say something very damaging to the president. At which time, and we've seen this happen a dozen times before, tell me if I'm wrong, at which time that is going to be picked up as the main football, and it will be passed around from mainstream media to mainstream media, and that will become the new hit point until the next witness says something that's uncomfortable for Donald Trump. Has nothing to do with him running the country, has nothing to do with an impeachable offense, but everything to do with destroying any credibility this human being has prior to the 2020 election. What they're not understanding is I'm watching the polls, and every time they do another piece of this clown music, every single time, the president's numbers go up. Before this impeachment circus started, he was standing at 42%. The latest Rasmussen poll, and they are very accurate. They were far more accurate than hundreds of other pollsters were. His latest poll is over 50%. So I would imagine President Trump, on some level, is going, keep it going, Nancy. Yay, Schiff. You're doing great.
And, I think even devil's advocate here, even if there was something, it's still, in my opinion and in my view, not an impeachable offense. No. I don't think the conversation was an impeachable offense.
No. And again, you're absolutely right. You're so right. You missed my point. You're absolutely right. There is no impeachable offense. So this has gone from, an impeachment process, they're still calling it that, to a muckraking process, whereby they're going to ask anybody who's had dealings with the president in front of the public uncomfortable questions, hoping that something's going to come out that the public isn't aware of that's going to make Donald Trump look bad. This has gone from impeachment hearing, because they know that isn't going to work, they know that for a fact, to a muckraking experience whereby they're hoping to destroy Trump's credibility before the 2020 election. This is probably, other than the Act of 1871, where the United States was sold and is now a corporation, and most people don't believe that and don't want to believe it, but it's a fact. Other than that, this is probably the biggest tyranny ever perpetrated on the American people. We are being told who our president will be, or else. We are being told certain things, and if we don't like it, tough, that's the way it's going to be. We are being told, the America and the liberals, are moving so quickly into a communist dictatorship, it's insane. But the entire time they're doing this, and anybody who can't see it, just step back and look. The entire time they're doing this, they're telling everybody it's the Republicans doing it.
Right. And I think, and Roger, this broke, I think, yesterday. You think Trump is actually going to testify in the impeachment probe? There's news that he might accept that invitation.
I would tell you he absolutely does not have to if he doesn't wish to.
Right.
But, you got to remember where this guy came from, and anybody who thinks that I am a Trump lover, or that I feel Trump can do no wrong, you're absolutely wrong.
Nobody. Me too. On the show, I make it, and I'll make it clear again. No.
Nobody on this planet will ever get elected to the president of the United States unless they have some deep state backing. What everybody here needs to hear, and nobody's telling you. So you're going to hear it first on Mom on the Right, Or most of you are going to hear it first. There's a civil war going on. It's been going on for almost a decade, and it's heating up. And it's not against progressives and liberals. And it's not against Islam and America. And it's not against, you know who it's against? It's against one faction of what we call the elitist caste and another faction of the elitist caste. There would never have been a President Trump if President Trump didn't have elitist connections. One of his bankruptcies, the biggest loan he got to pull himself out of bankruptcy, came from guess who? Who runs the world? What's the biggest family, the most wealthy family on the entire planet? Yeah, this is how well it's tied in. Anybody who thinks that Trump is everything Trump says he is, you have been drinking the Kool-Aid for too long. But having said that, let me explain something. As far as our rights go, as far as our ability to govern ourselves, as far as our ability to practice those rights, Trump has delivered more than any other shill to the people in a very long time. So if we've got to take someone, I'd much rather see him sitting there than someone like Clinton. But Clinton was a puppet of this global order. This global order is at war with those who support Trump. So anybody out there who's wondering how this can possibly be happening in America, how the president can be under attack every single day, how Congress can look so inept and stupid and at the same time bragging openly about a coup against a duly elected president, which means your vote and my vote means jack squat to them. This is America today. Okay? I was born in 1954. None of this was like this. None of it. I have literally watched it. And when I tell people the most valuable thing I have to let people understand what's really going on is 3 generations of perspective. And I'm far from stupid. I actually saw things. I remember things. I can take things from this drawer in my mind and this drawer in my mind and compare them and say, this is why. That's called perspective. Today, the America we live in wouldn't have been tolerated when I was young. Today, our children are taught that the government grants us our rights. So when the government grants you your rights, you better be really good to the government and do what it says.
Well, it's just like Russia. You might as well just move to Russia.
Yep. So, again, this is what I promised you today. I wanted to come on and tell people that this is the most dangerous period I have ever seen in my 65 years in American history. Right now, there is an active coup going on against a duly elected president, because when something doesn't work, they immediately try something else. Can anybody show me even a one-day respite since he came down the elevator and announced his candidacy?
No, it's been a freaking fiasco, and I'm just, you know, it's great. It keeps us in business. It keeps us very busy as journalists, but you know what? It's just asinine.
It is. We are talking about the restructuring, and this is how I'm going to wind this up. We're talking about restructuring the mindset and the physical makeup of the politics in the United States of America. And when I say that to anybody, immediately there's that tinfoil hat, Landry. What the hell are you talking about? Let me explain this to you. The Democrats have literally destroyed democracy to try and get a president either jerked out of office or make him so unpopular with lies and bullcrap that he can't possibly be reelected. What do you think the Republicans are going to do next time? What do you think the Democrats are going to do after that? What we have just initiated in American politics is a no-holds-barred political system where everything and anything that can be done to besmirch, to make look bad, even if it's a lie, even if it includes collusion with foreign powers like the Democratic Party did with the Russians on the Steele dossier, all the time accusing Trump of Russian collusion while they were guilty of Russian collusion to effect a U.S. election. Hold on, what did Roger just say? The Democrats paid Steele, who got the information from Russian and Ukrainian sources that was used to affect an American, my God, election. Isn't that what they accused Trump of? Didn't work, but they're guilty of it.
Well, it's a hypocrisy, not only with this and everything else.
Yes, ma'am.
With everything they said. I used to be a Democrat. They used to be in the middle. There's no such thing. They're so far off the page, and they're off the cliff at this point. I don't recognize the Democratic Party. They're going to kill themselves by doing this. They're not going to. They're done.
They have. And in closing, what I'm trying to do here, everybody, is just wake you up. Okay, if you just yawn after you hear this and then you go grab another beer and you sit down and watch some, I don't know, American Idol show or so on and so forth. This is America. It's based on the fact that we, the people, rule it. But if we don't participate, then they rule us. What I'm trying to tell you is, if any of this struck a chord with you, you need to talk to somebody else. We need to let people know that we're at a very dangerous crossroads in America. If the Democrats can pull this off and jerk a duly elected president out of the White House for something that isn't even an impeachable offense, then we have destroyed the people's power in this country going forward. You and I will no longer, ever have a voice again.
It just rolls downhill.
Yep. We will never have a voice again. This has to stop. And Corine, I really, really appreciate you giving me the platform to rant like an idiot.
That's going to be edited out. You
know that. Tell you not to edit it out. I like that.
Oh, goodness. No, Roger, thank you for your insight. And as the days, I mean, they're wasting our money again on Capitol Hill. So we'll see what this, what comes out of this. I mean, it just does, it's a nightmare. So guys, do your own research. Be cognizant because it can happen to you. This impacts all of us, moms, it doesn't matter. Both sides of the aisle, this will impact you and will set a precedent.
Hold on 1 second. How about you and I make a date right now that after this impeachment crap collapses, you and I will do a follow-up show.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, goody.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Roger, for being on the show. And I know you're a very busy guy. You're an investigative reporter. You're just, you're trying to change the world, and it's one website at a time and getting the information out. So guys, you need to watch this. You need to re-watch it, do your research, and stop watching all the networks.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. Amen. All right, Roger, we look forward to that follow-up. So we'll be in contact with that. And you guys leave your comments and stay in touch.